Emotional intelligence is the key to forming meaningful relationships and for achieving success in both your professional and personal life. Your emotions will control your life if you don't learn to control them. I know there has been plenty of times in my life where I wish I could go back and change how I reacted to something. Times when I let emotions get the best of me and how I was showing up for the people around me, or times when I let difficult emotions affect my work performance. And it never feels good when we let our emotions bring out the worst in us, or when our emotions hold us back from our true potential. But imagine being able to control your emotions and truly understand how others feel so that you can respond in a way that creates understanding and resolves conflict instead of creating more. When you're in a good mood, you're better at everything. When you're unfazed by stress or getting caught up in distracting emotions, you're clear. You can make actual rational decisions and be more focused. And when you're in a negative emotional state, because of the way the brain is wired, these negative emotions are actually taking up a large amount of space from your other capabilities and positive qualities. Emotional distractions are far stronger than external distractions. So we really want to be able to limit these emotional distractions. Be aware of them, as your emotions are in fact important tools for navigating life, but control them. Because emotional intelligence influences how well we interact with other people, poor emotional intelligence might actually cause you to want to isolate yourself. People with poor emotional intelligence often start perceiving other people as bad, annoying, or frustrating, which is kind of true, but kind of not true when you look at it this way. People are just people. They're not always happy or easy to deal with. So in many cases, it's not really other people that are the problem, but your ability to deal with other people that is the problem. And you don't always learn to regulate your emotions better as you get older. It doesn't happen that naturally for most people. It can become so easy to get stuck in our old ways and give the cop-out excuse that this is just the way we are. I just have an attitude problem. I just have no filter. No, that's not you. That's not the way you were born. Those are all learned behaviors that can be changed. You're responsible for your life and doing what you need to do to break these generational curses or learned behaviors so that you can pass down healthy habits and qualities to your children. And once you start building your emotional intelligence, it won't take you long to see why this is one of the biggest factors in overall happiness and how much more of an effective person you'll be in all aspects of your life. I know that studying psychology changed my life so much, and I wish it was something that was taught in schools earlier, because the difference these things have made for me have been night and day. And that's why I want to share my experiences here and create a community that's bringing awareness to these things. Okay, but let's get on with the big question. How can we improve our emotional intelligence? And I'm going to break that down into 5 different sections. Number 1 is the foundation. It's important to really understand this definition. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, control, and express our own emotions, and to understand and empathize with the emotions of others. But mastering your emotional intelligence takes practice and it takes work. It takes real life experiences to make progress in these areas. So don't be discouraged if you're having trouble living up to the version of yourself that you're visualizing. It's gonna take time. You're literally rewiring your brain to break old patterns, which takes time and it takes effort. And you can't close yourself off to other people if you're gonna get better at this. You need to get out there and socialize. You need to put yourself in situations where you're gonna be able to practice these tools. And I wanna add that taking the time to get professional therapy can have a great impact on your skill development. And I wanna bring awareness to this because it's a great foundation for a healthy life. People don't often realize this, but a lot of the biggest Hollywood stars, the biggest entrepreneurs, a lot of people that society really looks up to and wants to aspire to be, have regular therapists to help them in life. And they value that self-development and time to look deeply into their self. When you find a therapist that you work well with, it can be so life-changing. Look at it this way. If you want to get in the best shape of your life, you get a one-on-one trainer. If you want to be a great basketball player, you get a one-on-one professional coach. Well, if you want to become an exceptionally better person, have better mental health and emotional intelligence, you get a professional trainer here as well. And anyone who talks bad on that won't be talking too much when you're looking back at how much more successful you became because you decided to take charge of your life and of your mental health, and they didn't. Before we move on, let's point out the differences between low and high emotional intelligent people so that you can start to be aware of these common behaviors. Low emotional intelligent people have this need to always be right. They blame others for their problems. They're oblivious to the way that other people feel. They have poor coping skills to manage their emotions, even in some cases like literally no coping skills. Stress tends to consume their whole day. They typically have frequent emotional outbursts, and they have this habit of complaining or talking bad about other people. When on the other hand, high emotionally intelligent people are understanding. They're humble enough to be wrong and learn. They have this ability to accept and let go of mistakes. They have the awareness to understand what other people are feeling and why they might be feeling that way. They have the ability to manage their emotions as they arise and let go of things with strong coping skills to keep their mental health in check. They have the ability to talk about their emotions and to do that without hurting others or completely closing off. People with high emotional intelligence lift other people up. They empower and motivate people. And that's what makes them such great leaders. Number 2 is improving our self-awareness. Self-awareness involves the ability to recognize our moods, emotions, and feelings. Part of self-awareness also involves being able to be aware of how your emotions and moods are influencing the other people around you. Pay attention to what things start to cause you more stress, and then you can start to put attention to those areas and improve them. We can journal to start to identify our triggers or patterns. I know this probably sounds like every other self-help video saying, oh, just make a journal, yay. But journaling actually does some important things for us. Writing things down can calm anxieties. It can help us remember things. It can help us to make better sense of our life experiences. And as we label these things that we need to improve, we bring awareness to them, and that helps our brain create a shift in changing that behavior. And keep in mind, you can't work on any parts of yourself that you don't see as being a problem, which is why having a huge ego and never being wrong is such an issue. Those people never see themselves as needing help. Therefore, they tend to never grow very much. We can do this by just simply being honest with ourselves. And we can do this by getting feedback from other people to make sure that our idea of ourselves and other people's idea of us are in line with each other. Number 3 is self-regulation. And this is basically the cornerstone to emotional intelligence. Emotionally intelligent people have really good self-regulation skills. They think before they act. They are in tune with how they feel, but they don't let their emotions rule their lives or their actions. Self-regulation is being able to step back from yourself, to see your emotions, detach from them, and choose your reaction. Your first mental reaction is often your past speaking, but when you gain the ability to hold back that first thought and choose your actual reaction, that is real self-growth. Preventative maintenance can be very helpful here. Just simply making sure that we're keeping up with our daily healthy habits is essential to showing up at our best. And knowing when you need a day to recharge is very important too. We don't want a habit of stress building up in our lives until we explode. So you really want to address these things as they come up and have regular practices for relaxation and decompression. Life can be so fast-paced these days. We really have to learn to slow it down and to slow down our nervous systems. And a way that we can do that is by practicing stress inoculation. This is how we can train ourselves to calm our nervous system. And this is done by doing things like regularly lifting weights that are hard for us to lift, or by cold exposure therapy in showers or ice baths, or by visualization exercises. You can kind of role play the feared or stressful situations in your mind and visualize yourself reacting in a positive way, the way that you would choose on your best day. Playing those scenarios out in our head can make a huge difference of how we react when the situation actually arises. And we can regularly practice good coping routines, such as deep breathing, walking to ground ourselves, self-soothing meditation, listening to uplifting music, positive self-talk, anything like that. The more you have a habit of doing those things, the easier it will be for you to go there when you're stressed. And when you feel your nervous system getting amped up, use these tools to help bring yourself back to a calm state. The last and probably most powerful tool we can use is perspective shifting or cognitive reframing. It's such a simple little thing we can do, but it's just starting to be okay with the way the world is. Start to be okay with the way that people are. You're going to have a much harder time changing other people than changing the way that you respond to other people. We've all had that boss who is a total nut job and is stressed all the time. And it's so easy to take on that stress yourself. There's probably some other people in your life who might be that same way. So we can start to use these situations as training to work on our emotional regulation. Number 4 is communication. Good communication is essential, and it's a great way for us to keep up with our emotional regulation as well. The better you become at being able to constructively voice how you feel and what you want, the better you'll be at not letting your emotions build up. And the better you'll be at understanding yourself and understanding others. People are obviously not mind readers, and it's often when you think that you are that problems start to arise. So having strong communication skills is so important for the way that you interact with others. Being someone who can communicate well and say what's on their mind and be able to hear both sides of the story is something that people with high emotional intelligence learn to do very well. They're not afraid to communicate, and they're not afraid to help lead people into having good communication. Because sometimes all it takes is one of the people in the relationship to take the first step in opening up that line of communication. A good partner does this well, a good friend does this well, and a great leader does this well. Number 5 is empathy. Developing empathy is crucial for regulating how well we react to others, as well as becoming better at understanding and addressing other people's needs. In order to interact well with other people, you need to be able to know what they're feeling. If a coworker or significant other is upset or frustrated, knowing what they're feeling can give you a much better idea of how to respond. And just simply seeing the importance of empathy will open you up to improving that skill. But we need to be a person who develops a curiosity to understand others. You're learning to really put yourself in other people's shoes. You react much differently to people when you seek to understand them. We need to be an active listener, and we can do this by being present, by paying attention to nonverbal cues, by asking questions, and withholding our own personal judgments or biases. When you start to become a person who's embodying all of these skills and qualities, you're going to become a highly effective, productive, very charming, and likable person. Whether it's your personal relationships or your professional endeavors, strengthening your emotional intelligence and applying it is one of the most important parts of self-development. And it will lead to much more positive outcomes in our lives as well as in our health. As you start to master these skills, you're going to be a much healthier person to be around. You're going to become more attractive. You'll become a much better leader. Your relationships will improve. Your life satisfaction will improve. And you'll start to experience a much more peaceful life. I just want to thank you for your time, and I hope that you found some value in this video. If you've made it this far, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.